the Lord. Oh, 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 come on, praise the Lord. Oh, 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 let's just praise the Lord. Oh, 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 come on, praise the Lord. Oh, oh, from the walls of Jerusalem to the long white cloud of Antero, with one voice they worship Him, God of all and Zion's King of Kings. Oh, 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 let's just praise the Lord. Oh, 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 come on, praise the Lord. Just praise the Lord. Oh, 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 come on, praise the Lord. Oh, 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 every tribe, praise Him, every time, praise Him, lift your hands, hallelujah. Every tribe, praise Him, every time. Praise Him, lift your hands, hallelujah. Oh, 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 just praise the Lord. Oh, 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 come on, praise the Lord. Oh, 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 just praise the Lord. Oh, 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 come on, praise the Lord. Oh, 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 praise the Praise the Lord. Never stop doing that, no matter what.
That's right.
Alrighty, you may be seated.
This morning's parasha. I pleaded. It's interesting, isn't it? When was the last time you pleaded with God? It's an interesting question. You know, it's something you need to think about sometimes. When was the last time that you pleaded with God to really speak to your heart? To really lift you up, lift you out of the doldrum, lift you out of sometimes your situation. It's a great passage here. The Torah, Davrim 3:3-7, and then Yeshayahu, Isaiah 40. Very exciting. I'll just blow the shofar before we start. How about that? Lip replacement. proclaim the word of the Lord.
Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom. Just building on what Joel said there about when was the last time we pleaded out to God. But the key for me and the moral of this was, will we still be faithful and serve him if he's angry and says no to us? This was the key. We plead out, we don't get the answer, but yet we still walk with him and still serve him. I pleaded with Adonai at that time, saying, O Lord Adonai, you have begun to show your servant your greatness and your strong hand. For what God is there in heaven or on earth who can do deeds and mighty acts like yours? Please let me cross over and see the good land across the Jordan, that good hill country and the Lebanon. But Adonai was angry with me because of you. Kind of sounds like Adam. But Adonai was angry with me because of you, so he would not listen to me. Enough, Adonai said to me. Do not speak to me any more about this matter. Go up to the top of Pisgah and look around to the west and to the north and to the south and to the east, and see with your eyes, for you will not cross over this Jordan. But commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he will cross over before this people, and he will enable them to inherit the land that you will see. So we stayed in the valley opposite Beth-Peor. Now, O Israel, listen to the statutes and the ordinances that I am teaching you to do, so that you may live and go in and possess the land that Adonai, your God of your fathers, is giving you. You must not add to the word that I am commanding you, or take away from it, in order to keep the mitzvot of Adonai your God that I am commanding you. Your eyes have seen what Adonai did at Baal Peor, for Adonai your God has destroyed from among you everyone who followed Baal Peor. But you who held tight to Adonai your God are alive today, all of you. See, just as Adonai my God commanded me, I have taught you statutes and ordinances to do in the land that you are about to enter to possess. You must keep and do them, for it is your wisdom and understanding in the eyes of the people who will hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what great nation is there that has God so near to them as Adonai our God is whenever we call on him? What great nation is there that has statutes and ordinances that are righteous, like all of this Torah that I am setting before you today? Only be watchful and watch over your soul closely, so you do not forget the things your eyes have seen, and they slip from your heart all the days of your life. You are to make them known to your children and your children's children. And the day that you stood before Adonai your God in Horeb, Adonai said to me, gather the people to me, and I will make them hear my words, so that they will learn to fear me all the days that they live on the earth, so that they will teach their children.
Amen.
You came near and stood at the bottom of the mountain, while the mountain was blazing with fire. Up to the heart of the heavens, darkness, cloud, and fog. Adonai spoke to you from the midst of the fire. The sound of words you heard, but a form you did not see, only a voice. He declared to you his covenant, which he commanded you to do, the 10 words. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. Adonai commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and ordinance, so that you might do them in the land you are crossing over to possess. So be very watchful over your soul, since you saw no form on the day that Adonai spoke to you in Horeb, out of the midst of the fire, so that you do not act corruptly and make for yourselves a graven image in the likeness of any figure, the form of a male or female, the form of any animal that is on the earth, the form or any winged bird that flies in the sky, the form of anything that creeps on the ground, the form of any fish that is in the water under the earth. And so that you do not lift up your eyes toward the heavens and see the sun and the moon and the stars, all the heavenly host, and are drawn away and bow down and worship them. Adonai your God has allotted them to all the peoples under all the heavens. But you, Adonai, has taken, and he brought you out of the iron furnace and out of Egypt to be a people for his own inheritance, as you are this day. Furthermore, Adonai was angry with me because of your words. He swore that I would not cross over the Jordan or enter the good land that Adonai your God is giving you for inheritance. For I must die in this land. I am not crossing over the Jordan. But you will cross over and take possession of that good land. Watch yourselves, so that you do not forget the covenant of Adonai your God, which he cut with you, and make for yourselves a graven image in the form of anything that Adonai your God has forbidden you. For Adonai your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. When you father children and children's children and have been in the land a long time, and you act corruptly and make a graven image in the form of anything, and do evil in the sight of Adonai your God, provoking him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that you will certainly be carried off quickly from the land you are crossing over the Jordan to possess. You will not prolong your days on it, for you will certainly be destroyed. Adonai will scatter you among the peoples, and you will be left few in number among the nations where Adonai will drive you. There you will serve man-made gods of wood and stone, which do not see or hear or eat or smell. But from there you will seek Adonai your God, and you will find him. When you seek him with all your heart and with all your soul. We'll put a Selah there. When you are in distress and all these things have come on you in the latter days, you will return to Adonai your God and listen to his voice. For Adonai your God is a merciful God. He will not abandon you or destroy you or forget the covenant with your fathers that he swore to you. Indeed, ask now about the former days that were before you, from the day that God created man on the earth, and ask from one end of the sky to the other. Has there ever been such a great thing as this? Has anything like it been heard? Has a people ever heard the voice of God speaking from the midst of the fire as you have heard and lived? Or has any God ever tried to come to take for himself a nation from within a nation by trials, by signs and wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, and by great terrors like all that Adonai, your God, did for you in Egypt before your eyes? You were shown so that you might know that Adonai is God. There is no other beside him. From the heavens he made you hear his voice to instruct you. And on earth he caused you to see his great fire. You heard his words from the midst of the fire. Because he loved your fathers, he chose their descendants after them. Then he brought you out from Egypt with his presence, with his great power, to drive out from before you nations greater and mightier than you are, to bring you in, to give you their land for an inheritance, as it is this day. So you will know today and take to heart that Adonai, he is God. In the heavens above and on the earth below, there is no other. You must keep his statutes and his mitzvot, which I am commanding you today, so that it may go well with you and with your children after you, and so that you may prolong your days in the land that Adonai your God is giving you for all time.
Shabbat Shalom. Moses called to all Israel and said to them, "Hear, O Israel, the statutes and the ordinances that I am speaking in your hearing today. learn them, and make sure to do them. Adonai, our God, cut a covenant with us in Horeb, not with our fathers, as Adonai cut this covenant, but with us, all of us alive here today. Adonai spoke with you face to face on the mountain, from the midst of the fire. I was standing between Adonai and you at the time to tell you the word of Adonai, because you were afraid because of the fire and did not go up the mountain. He said, I am Adonai your God, who brought you out from the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. You shall not have other gods beside me. Do not make for yourself a graven image, no image of what is in heaven above or on the earth beneath or in the water under the earth. Do not bow down to them or worship them. For I, Adonai your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children and on the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing loving kindness to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my mitzvah. You must not take the name of Adonai your God in vain, for Adonai will not leave unpunished anyone who takes his name in vain. Observe Yom Shabbat. Keep it holy, as Adonai your God commanded you. 6 days you are to labor and do all your work. But the 7th day is a Shabbat to Adonai your God. In it you are not to do any work, not you, or your son, or your daughter, or your slave, or your maid, or your ox, or your donkey, or any of your livestock, or the outsider within your gates, so that your slave and your maid may rest as you do. You must remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Adonai your God brought you out from there with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm. Therefore, Adonai your God commanded you to keep Yom Shabbat. Honor your father and your mother, just as Adonai your God commanded, so that your days may be long and it may go well with you in the land. And Adonai your God is with you. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness against your neighbors. Do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor desire your neighbor's house, his field, his manservant, his maidservant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. These words Adonai has spoke to all your assembly on the mountain and from the midst of the fire, the cloud and the fog, with a great voice. He added no more. He wrote them on 2 tablets of stone and gave them to me. Then through to verse 30. You are to walk all in the way that Adonai your God has commanded you, so that you may live and it may be well with you, and you may prolong your days in the land that you will possess.
Shabbat Shalom. Now this is the commandment, the statutes and ordinances that Adonai your God commanded to teach you to do in the land you are crossing over to possess, so that you might fear Adonai your God, to keep all his statutes days of your life, so that you may prolong your days. Hear therefore, O Israel, and take care to do this, so it may go well with you, and you may increase mightily, as Adonai, the God of your fathers, has promised you, in a land flowing with milk and honey. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai our God, Adonai is one. Love Adonai your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. These words which I am commanding you today are to be on your heart. You are to teach them diligently to your children, and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign on your hand. They are to be frontlets between your eyes, and write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Now when Adonai your God brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you great and good cities that you did not build, and houses full of all good things that you did not fill, and cisterns dug that you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees that you did not plant, and you eat and are full, then watch yourself, so that you do not forget Adonai, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, from the house of slavery. You must fear Adonai your God and serve him, and swear by his name. You must not go after other gods, the gods of the peoples around you, for Adonai your God in the midst of you is a jealous God. Otherwise the anger of Adonai your God will be kindled against you, and he will wipe you from the face of the earth. You are not to test Adonai your God as you tested him at Massah. Diligently keep the mitzvot of Adonai your God and his testimonies and his statutes that he has commanded you. You are to do what is right and good in the sight of Adonai, that it may go well with you, and you may go in and possess the good land that Adonai swore to your fathers, to drive out all your enemies from before you, as Adonai has spoken. When your son asks you in time to come, saying, "What are the testimonies and the statutes and the ordinances that Adonai our God commanded you?" then you are to tell your son, "We were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, and Adonai brought us out from Egypt with a mighty hand. Before our eyes Adonai showed signs and wonders, great and terrible, on Egypt, on Pharaoh, and all his house. Then he brought us out from there so that he might bring us in, to give us the land that he swore to our fathers. Adonai commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Adonai our God for our good always, to keep us alive, as is the case this day. It will be righteousness to us if we take care to do all this commandment before Adonai our God, just as he has commanded us."
Boker Tov, on to chapter 7. Adonai your God is going to bring you into the land you will enter in order to take possession of it, and he will expel many nations ahead of you: the Hittite, the Girgashi, Emori, Kinaani, Perizi, Hivi, and Yevsi, 7 nations bigger and stronger than you. When he does this, when Adonai your God hands them over ahead of you and you defeat them, you are to destroy them completely, underlined in my words. Do not make any covenant with them. Show them no mercy. Don't intermarry with them. Don't give your daughters to his son, and don't take his daughter for your son. For he will turn your children away from following me in order to serve other gods. If this happens, the anger of Adonai will flare up against you, and he will quickly destroy you. No, treat them this way. Break down their altars, smash their standing stones to pieces, cut down their sacred poles, and burn up their carved images completely. For you are a people set apart as holy for Adonai your God. Adonai your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his unique treasure. Adonai didn't set his heart on you or choose you because you numbered more than any other people. On the contrary, you were the fewest of all the peoples. Rather, it was because Adonai loved you and because he wanted to keep the oath which he had sworn to your ancestors, that Adonai brought you out with a strong hand and redeemed you from a life of slavery under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. From this you can know that Adonai your God is indeed God, the faithful God, who keeps his covenant and extends grace to those who love him and observe his mitzvot to 1,000 generations. But he repays those who hate him to their face and destroys them. He will not be slow to deal with someone who hates him. He will repay him to his face. Therefore, you are to keep the mitzvot, laws and rulings, which I am giving you today, and obey them.
Isaiah chapter 40, verse 1. Comfort my people, says your Elohim. Speak to the heart of Jerusalem and cry out to her that her hard service is completed, that her crookedness is pardoned, that she has received from the hand of Yahweh double all her sins. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of Yahweh, make straight the desert, a highway for our Elohim. Let every valley be raised, and every mountain and hill made low. And the steep ground shall become level, and the rough places smooth. Verse 12. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and measured the heavens with a span, and contained the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who has meted out the spirit of Yahweh, or as a counselor taught him? With whom did he take counsel, and who instructed him in the path of right ruling? Who taught him knowledge and showed him the way of understanding? Verse 21. Did you not know? And have you not heard? Has it not been declared to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he who sits upon the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in, who brings princes to naught, shall make rulers of the earth as emptiness. And hardly have they been planted, and hardly have they been sown, hardly has their stock taken root in the earth, when he shall blow on them, and they wither, and a whirlwind take them away like stubble. And to whom then do you liken me, or to whom am I compared, says the Kodesh one, the set-apart one? Lift up your eyes on high, and see who has created these. We have a bit of fun here. Lift up your eyes on high and see who has created these, and who is bringing out their host by number. He calls them all by name, by the greatness of ability and the potent of power. A man is not lacking